piano people, Ashley from Ashley Young Music Studio here today, and we're going to talk about Maaghdalena Dakker's Minuet and Bourree. I'm not sure if you've heard that name before, Maaghdalena Dakker. She's a woman composer from the Baroque period. Her exact dates are unknown, but she was living sometime around the time of 1716. And I find her life to be so fascinating. So first of all, we don't know a lot about her life, so I'm going to share with you everything that I know and everything that I was able to find. And most of what I was able to find came from one paper that was written for a clavichord journal from the Netherlands. And it was translated by Tom Brockmeyer. And I'll put the link to this article in the description below so you can go through and read it on your own if you like. In that link, it also includes all of the pieces from this notebook where the Minuet and the Bourree were taken from. So Maaghdalena Dakker, like I said, lived around 1716 and she died when she was only 15 years old. So she had a very, very short life and she grew up, we think, playing the piano or the harpsichord at that time. And there's a notebook that's dated 1716 that includes 43 pieces, including this Minuet and the Bourree that I'm going to play through today and show you. Now, the authorship of the book is not completely certain. It is believed that she either wrote the pieces in the book or had them commissioned or simply owned the notebook. And so it's a little bit confusing who really wrote the pieces. There's a little bit of evidence that her mother was the author of the pieces, but upon a handwriting analysis, scholars think maybe not. And there's also evidence that points to a local church musician being the author, but nobody knows for sure. Now, while the authorship is a little bit unknown, I like to credit Maaghdalena Dakker because I think that this notebook gives us a really cool glimpse into the life of an 18th century Dutch girl, when the idea of women, or especially girls, composing and creating works was kind of unheard of. And so because there's a small chance that the music in the notebook was composed by Dakker, I give her full credit. Now, included in this notebook is a bunch of pieces. Like I said, there's 43. There's also a rigadoon, which is a dance, 8 minuets, a contradance, an allemande, 2 gigues, and many other short pieces. The longest piece in the notebook is a theme and variations based on La Folia, which is one of the oldest remembered European themes that many composers used in their music. Some of the other pieces in the notebook have descriptive titles. Like number 15 is called The Shepherd of the Night, or number 36 is called Love in Tears, and number 41 is called March of the Hoof, or I think maybe it means like March of the Horse or something like that. I'm guessing. I used Google Translate. It's not always an exact translation there. And this is really cool, and I find it to be really interesting because in this time period, composers didn't often use programmatic titles, so they didn't often name pieces things that suggested something extra musical. So having a piece called The March of the Hoof or The Shepherd of the Night was a little bit unusual for that time, and I think that Dakker could have been projecting a little bit of what was to come. Now, I wish that she would have lived a longer life because then maybe we would have more pieces by her or more information about her, but today I'm going to give you kind of an overview of the pieces, and we're not going to dive in, and it's not going to be a tutorial video, but I'm going to give you some key points so that you have an idea of how to listen to these pieces, and then you have a good foundation if you do want to play them. As you can hear, the minuet is a really joyful piece. A minuet is a dance that's always in 3/4 time, and that's true of this minuet. This minuet is in binary form, meaning that we have an A section and a B section. And the piece is 4 phrases total. So the A section is 2 phrases and the B section is 2 phrases. There's a lot of contrasting dynamics. So forte, piano, forte, piano. And when we listen to this piece, you can hear me doing that. And if you were to play this piece, you would of course want to get those contrasts down so that it was very, very musical. Now, one of the things that I think is really fun when we talk about or listen to dance music is to actually try to feel the rhythm and try to internalize it. And if you can get up and actually dance, I would suggest doing that while you listen to this piece. Maybe rewind the video a little bit and listen and dance with it and see if you can internalize that 3/4 feeling, because it comes up a lot in dance music. The nice thing about this piece is that the level of it is probably like a 1 or 2, and so it's not a super advanced piece. So if you're in your earlier stages of piano study, you might be able to learn this piece and it might not be that much of a challenge. Now, the score that I'm reading from is On Your Way to Succeeding with the Masters, edited by Helen Marleus and published by FJH Music Company, and I'll link to this book in the description below. It's a great book. It has the Minuet and the Bourree in it, and you can also find the pieces in the link to the article. It actually includes the entire 43 pieces from the notebook in there, but they're not edited. And so the nice thing about this collection that's been edited by Helen Marleus is there are dynamics written in and phrasing and articulation marks, and that can make it a little bit easier to play, especially if you're not really well versed in the interpretation of music from the Baroque period. Then it's nice to have those suggestions. Now, the Bourree is also a dance, but a Bourree is a dance that is meant to be felt in 2. And so the time signature is 4/4, but you could hear when I was playing it, da 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 da, it really feels like it's in a fast 2. And that's really common of Bourrees. This piece is also in binary form, meaning that there's an A section and a B section. There's 2 phrases in the A section and 2 phrases in the B section, but the thing that's a little bit different about this Bourree is that both sections repeat. So we play the A section twice and we play the B section twice as well. Lots of dynamics and articulation written into this score as well. Now, you'll also notice that this piece has a pickup or an incomplete measure or an anacrusis. It doesn't start on beat 1, and that's a really common characteristic of a Bourree, as well as the fact that it's in a pleasant and carefree style, and there's repeated rhythms throughout the piece. All of those things are things that we commonly see in Bourrees from this time period. I hope that you enjoyed listening to these 2 pieces. I would highly suggest that you get the music and to learn them. They're a fun change of pace from a lot of the other composers that we commonly see during the Baroque period, and they're very beautiful. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of Maaghdalena Dakker before, or if you like these pieces or not. Happy practicing, and I'll see you next time.